Hey guys, Attorney Walter Knott. It is amazing to be finally back in Florida. Period to basically create videos for you, the videos I was supposed to over the past couple of days. As you know, I was in New Jersey working nonstop to go ahead and prep the farm for either rental or to basically be sold. So my goal is to get it rented, but you know the whole spiel. Here's what we're going to go through. Please remember to like, subscribe, leave 5-star reviews. Now we're done with that. I have been very worried. I know some of you enjoy watching channels where they tell you about how they're writing these brilliant letters to the senators, to the House reps, about how we need a stimulus and how those letters are so important that they're advocating on behalf of you. I hate to say it, but those letters are usually worthless. Those letters that they send to the congressmen, the senators, the House reps, etc. So let's get right to the bottom line. Let's go through the information that actually matters. The food. What's it going to cost for you to live, specifically to eat in 2022? This is from Fortune magazine, December 29th, 2021. So right at the end of the last year. Food manufacturers are up and down the aisles, are set to introduce sweeping increases. Howdy, Schaffner. Hello. Sweeping increases in the prices of a broad range of products beginning on January 1st. Everything from snack foods like Jell-O and cookies to everyday items like milk and coffee are expected to rise in price as high inflation rates and supply chain issues continue to disrupt the market. Earlier this month, overall inflation rates rose to 6.8% over the previous year, marking the fastest annual increase in the inflation rate since June of 1982. Let me read that again. Overall inflation rates rose to 6.9 COLA increase for the disabled and retired. That's not a boost. That's just meaning you're getting the same amount of money it would cost to buy the same stuff the next year. It's not a boost. It's not an increase. All it is the same amount of money to buy stuff that's now more expensive. However, they're saying overall inflation rates rose to 6.8% over the previous year, 2021. All right, since 1982, that's how bad the inflation is. You go back to 1982, when it was out of control, we're worse than that, probably. This next year, 2022, is going to show that. From the Bureau of Labor Statistics, that's where that came from. In November, the U.S. Department of Agriculture's Food at Home Index, which includes grocery store or supermarket food purchases, it rose 6.4% over the previous year. According to the index, the prices of meat, poultry, fish, and eggs increased 12.8%, driven up by strong domestic and international demand, labor shortages, supply chain disruptions, and high feed and other input costs. Not good. Okay? That was from the Department of Agriculture's Food at Home Index. 2022 expectations, what this video is about. Looking ahead to the new year, it appears that inflation rates will continue to impact the food industry and cause prices to rise, especially at grocery stores across the country. Inflation is outpacing increases in household income. This is what's important for you guys, the fixed income part, and weighing heavily on consumer confidence, which is at a decade low. That's why Biden's, down here when it comes to the ratings. It is only a matter of time before it impacts consumer spending in a material way, said Greg McBride, Bankrate's chief financial analyst, in a December interview with Fortune. Okay? Not good. According to research from IRI, food prices are estimated to rise an overall 5% in the first half. The first half of 2022. The food prices already skyrocketed in 2021. In the first half of 2022, they're going to go up by 5%. Your 5.9 isn't even close to being adequate just to pay for the food increases. Though the level of increases will depend on the grocer and location. As inflation rises, some large companies are implementing additional price increases. IRI's report reads, we see increasing price sensitivity emerge for our everyday items such as breakfast meats, frozen poultry, and pet food. Now remember, guys, the government usually controls the prices of the utility foods, right? The eggs, the butter, the milk, the orange juice, stuff like that. The stuff we always buy, the utilities of what we have in our diet, right? They even pay farmers not to produce certain amounts of things to keep the prices at a respect. They do all these things to control those specifically, those utility foods that we all use. What this is saying is the utility foods are going way up. What this is saying is that the government no longer can control the extreme rate of inflation that has occurred as a result of COVID and some really pitiful, poor, I'm just going to say it, White House decisions over the past year that have equated to not enough production capability. And just to make it simple, guys, if you want to produce items in a farm sense, right, you want to produce them locally in America, there have to be certain things that remain cheap to the farmers. Cheap fuel for their tractors, cheap pesticides for the food. All these things have to remain cheap. And the big one, the really bad one, the bags that the stuff goes into, the containers that the stuff goes into, skyrocketed. I went to my favorite hot dog place in New Jersey. It's actually in Pennsylvania now. It's called Jimmy's Hot Dogs. First time I ever made a real dating mistake was when I took a girl there. We didn't get to continue to date after that. I didn't realize a hot dog place was not a date. Hey, okay. So, classic New Jersey thing. All right, bottom line though was this. They were not able to produce the little milk chocolates that they always sell or the little orange juice containers that they always sell because they couldn't get the actual containers from China to put the milk and the orange juice into them. Not good. Several major food distribution companies in the United States recently announced price jumps ahead of 2022. Those include Mondelez International, General Mills, and Kraft Heinz all announced sweeping prices and increases beginning in the new year on products ranging from candy to cereal to Jell-O, according to the Wall Street Journal. You know who's really going to get screwed over from this? Yeah, the disabled, the retired, but also the disabled kids, right? And kids in general, because the parents are not going to be able to afford these things. Kraft Heinz, all right, so let's go through this. According to Wall Street Journal, Kraft Heinz price increases were among the most dramatic heading into 2022, with some items going up as much as 20%. That's your Jell-O, stuff like that. The price of the company, Grey Poupon mustard, for example, will increase between 6 to 13%. Other common food items are expected to become more expensive as a result of ongoing supply chain issues. Prices of produce, like potatoes and celery, are likely to increase because of the higher freight costs. Alcoholic beverages like beer, liquor, and wine will increase in price because of labor shortages and delays on imported goods, according to the Wall Street Journal's report. Other factors contributing to the jump in food prices are higher oil prices and companies passing on the cost of more expensive transportation, said PNC senior economist Bill Adams in an interview with Fortune in December. I actually use PNC. Up to this point, consumers have been willing to spend more on groceries even as prices rise significantly. Consumer loyalty, showing little concern about this. Well, that's going to change. Let me read that again. You will realize how these companies have been screwing over the people. Up to this point, consumers have been willing to spend more on groceries even as prices rise significantly. And many big-name brands have banked on consumer loyalty, showing little concern about passing along price increases to customers. Meaning, they know you're going to buy the product anyway. They don't care. Let you buy it. They'll just raise the price because they know you want it. But experts told Fortune that relying on brand loyalty in the wake of increasing prices is short-sighted. Absolutely, of course. And could quickly backfire in the new year. It already has. 2021, it backfired. Consumers are watching very carefully how much money they're spending on groceries. Phil Lempert, analysis and food trends expert known as the Supermarket Guru, told Fortune in November interview, they've seen the price of groceries go up. It's continuing to go up. And just because you have a national brand that's iconic for 100 years doesn't mean that you can raise prices. All right. What does this mean for you, the retired? What does this mean for essentially you, the disabled? It means that the 5.9 COLA increase is not going to be sufficient in being able to hold you up, being able to continue you forward, because the food that you buy is going to go up. Now, this article focuses on major, mega, big brand companies. But it also acknowledges in the very beginning that utility foods, your orange juice, your eggs, your butter, your bread, are all going significantly up. This means that the quality of life, the standard by which you have been living, will now begin to go even farther down, which doesn't make sense because most of you can't even afford rent to begin with. Alas, it's sad because now they've created a system where you essentially won't be able to afford basic things such as the quality foods that you might have purchased as a splurge to have something a little bit better, a higher quality of bread, an organic version of something, etc. So the problem that I see here is that we really do need some sort of stimulus increase for food, or an increase in food stamps, or something that goes to the retired and the disabled, because the bottom line is all we're seeing is the standard of living in America continue to drop. And let me explain what happens here. A lot of people see the standard of living not being directly coinciding with how the economy is doing. And the retired and the disabled, more so than the private market, are tied to the economy, which is something that nobody ever talks about. But it's important. And here's why. When the economy does this, the standard of living lags 1 year behind and then ends up below because everything becomes so expensive. They get behind, the retired get behind, the disabled get behind, the retired have to sell their homes that they grew up in. It's not a good situation. So I just want to make you guys basically understand what's going on here. I want you to understand how bad it is. And I just want you to know that I'm pissed off because this is just piss poor management in the government. You know, when they say government's just being lazy, they didn't do something, or government could have yada yada, you got to wonder at what point, and realistically, at what point are the people going to be so fed up that they just throw all of them out? That they change the voting system to just throw them all out? I mean, why do we even have career politicians? Does that make any sense? Being a politician should be such a tough job that most people don't want to have to do it. That's how bad that job should be. Our finest civilians, our finest Americans, our finest human beings should become politicians, because that's how hard the job should be. What it is a comfort food job. You go there, you get special benefits, special insurance, special pensions, special everything, and transportation, special security, you get all that stuff. Your entire life is taken care of. But yet the people filling those positions do not fill their agreed bargain to the people by supplying better laws for the people. Instead, they want to tax the people more and then give the people less benefits. For the richest country in the world, how did we get this dumb? How did we get this silly? How is China now getting ready to surpass us in GDP potential, if it hasn't already? How did we get to this point? It's just sad. I don't understand it, you know? I don't get it. Anyways, guys, I'm going to be doing another video. I'm going to end this video now, but the next video is specifically going to be on fast food versus healthy food. What's going to cost more? Blew my friggin' mind. And I eat a lot of junk food, which I need to stop doing, you know, but it blew my mind. So we're going to do that video next. Please remember to like, subscribe, and also, just as a thing, I always ask people to leave 5-star reviews. Some of you guys do, some of you don't. Very few ultimately do. If you could leave me a 5-star review, it's in the bio area below. You just click on the link. It's really simple, and I really appreciate it. All right. Have a wonderful day, guys. I'll catch you a little bit later, and I'll be back in about 2 or 3 minutes. All righty. Bye-bye, guys. Bye-bye.